Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another banner review video, and today let's take a look at the World of Thracia Banner. This banner includes Leif, Nanna, a new Reinhardt, and a new Olwen. I'm going to try to provide some interesting insight on these heroes, and hopefully by the end of this video you guys can make your own judgment on whether or not this banner is worth summoning from. Let's start off the video with the star of the banner, Leif. He has 40 HP, 32 attack, 38 speed, 30 defense, 23 resistance, and 163 BST. He's in the same BST bin as the big boys like Legendary Ike, Ira, Fallen Silica, Mia, and a few others. That means he's at the top of the list among infantry sword units in regards to arena scoring. His stats are impressive. It's on the same level as Mia's and Ira's. All three have about the same offensive stats and total mixed bulk. Ira is still the best out of the three for arena, then in my opinion it's Mia, then Leif. Leif's still solid for arena, but where he'll excel at are Tempest Trials and Chain Challenges, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit. But yeah, he's got solid stat line. Can't really go against that when his stats are talked in the same breath as Ira's and Mia's. Weapon is Light Brand and grants defense +3, so his defense increases to 33. If foe's defense is greater or equal than foe's resistance by 5, deals 7 damage. This weapon is very weird. So basically, if the enemy has 5 more defense compared to their resistance, then Leif deals 7 more damage. When effects are based solely on enemy stats, that adds inconsistency because there's so many ways to build units, and in arena, mixed bulk units are fairly common nowadays. That being said, Light Brand relies on team debuffing skills for it to be consistent and efficient. However, don't automatically think that you need chill res or res play on your team. If you have 4 physical units on your team, including Leif, it would be better just to run defense debuffing skills because it helps the whole team. Let's say you're running 2 physicals, a mage, and a Dragonstone user, then consider running resistance debuffing skills. If you don't take the time to build your team correctly around this weapon, then Light Brand's effect will end up being unpredictable. Special is Blazing Light. You know, I'm starting to like AoE specials more and more, but I still dislike the light ones. The only two I would consider using are Wind and Flame. Anyways, I think Moonbow, Luna, or Aether will mesh well with Light Brand's effect. The units that he'll have a hard time against are the ones with high defense, and since it's recommended to have resistance debuffers on a team in order to activate Light Brand's effect more easily, that will leave the foe's defense stat untouched. A skill is Steady Blow 2, grants speed and defense +4 during combat. It's okay as a budget skill. I would probably still rather give him something that increases his attack and speed because you can never have too much attack and more speed is always great. Fury will probably be his best budget A skill, especially if you take into consideration his unique B skill, S-Drink. At the start of turn 1, restores 99 HP and grants special cooldown count -1. This skill is godlike for Tempest Trials and Chain Challenges. At the beginning of every new stage, S-Drink will restore Leif's health back to full and reduce his special cooldown by 1. Like, we all know how bad Fury is for Tempest Trials and Chain Challenges. Well, it won't affect Leif since his health will be restored back to full every single stage. For arena, it's pretty underwhelming, but I guess it could be alright. In arena, all it is Quick Impulse, but in the B slot. What you can do is give him Luna and it'll start off at 2 charges, which means he'll activate it on his second hit against an enemy that can counter, but only for the first fight. C slot is Drive Attack, and that's kind of like whatever, solid stat boosting skill. So Leif, another sword infantry unit. He's not the best sword unit, but he's up there. He is, however, the best unit in the game to use for Tempest Trials and Chain Challenges. Best boon for him is attack or speed. I think speed is better for player phase builds, while plus attack is better for enemy phase builds. If you have the right speed buffs on your team, then plus attack might be the best boon. Best bane is definitely res, then HP. He has enough speed to prevent doubles from a lot of matchups, which means that for most fights he's only getting hit once. That being said, minus HP Bane actually hurts his magical bulk more than minus res unless he's up against a mage with a brave weapon like Reinhardt or Olwen, but he would die to both those guys regardless. The other red unit in the banner is Reinhardt, Red Sword Cavalier, and he has 40 HP, 35 attack, 23 speed, 31 defense, 28 resistance, and 157 BST. Reinhardt is definitely the most interesting unit out of the batch. He's got such a unique stat line, decent HP, high attack, very low speed, great defense, and resistance. These are good stats. For a second here, let's just imagine that he doesn't have the legendary weapon that he has. Then he's just a slightly less physical bulky Eldigan with more attack and more magical bulk. People would just slap on double close defense or a different but similar A slot skill, defense refined, slaying edge or woe dow, bonfire or ignis, then call it a day. he would be hitting 52 defense and 48 resistance with 45 cavalry buffs and proccing 26 damage bonfires every single fight. He even has the res to tank some hits from Dragonstone as well. So yeah, overall he has a good stat line. Now let's evaluate his stats with his weapon. I'm probably going to butcher the weapon name. Meister Schwartz inflicts -5 speed and unit attacks twice. Basically an 11 might brave weapon that works on both phases, meaning that when an enemy attacks Reinhardt, then he will counter with 2 immediate attacks. That's nutty. I'm not going to evaluate this weapon from a player phase standpoint because Cavalry Crom could inherit a brave sword and be just as good as Reinhardt on the player phase. Crom would just have one less attack, so I'm going to evaluate it from the enemy phase perspective. His stat line works well with this weapon. He has the resistance and defense to tank 1 hit from most enemies, maybe not 2, but at least 1. That being said, whoever attacks Reinhardt will get punished by at least 2 attacks before he goes down. Maybe 4 if he has quicker post equipped and survives 2 attacks. If you take a look, he has Vantage in the B slot. If he's in Vantage range and an enemy attacks him, the enemy better hope he can survive 2 hits. Now the biggest con is that there's really no way to build him for both phases. The best skills for that are either Fury, Life and Death, or Bond skills, and these skills don't really work well with his stats, or in regards to Bond skills, they don't really work with the mixed phase playstyle. I could see Bond skills working only if he's on a Goat and Ward Cavalry team. I think it would be better to build him for one phase, preferably the enemy phase. The best A slot skill for that would be Fear Stance because it's just an enemy phase death blow. This encounter Vantage quicker post seal could work as well, but that build would require the right team buffs surrounding him, like Home Cavalry buff and multiple Goat Cavalry buffs. Otherwise, he's going to be pretty weak. Whatever you do, if you're building him for the enemy phase, just make sure that you build him to take out enemies with the first 2 immediate attacks. The reason is because he's attacking twice immediately, so that grants the enemy more special charges. That means enemies with 3 charge specials are able to activate their specials on their second hit, so yeah, keep that in mind. Special is Pavice. I get why he would have this, but I really don't like it. I would build him to kill, not to survive. A skill is Death Blow, perfect for a player phase Reinhardt. It just doesn't make sense to have Death Blow with Vantage. That means he's dealing 46 times 2 advantage, which is pretty sad. That's like getting hit by a Roy with a Brave Sword build. So yeah, if you're going to keep Death Blow, then get rid of Vantage. If you keep Vantage, then get rid of Death Blow. B skill is obviously Vantage. It actually works well with his stat line and weapon. He has enough bulk to endure 1 hit, so on the enemy phase, when an enemy attacks him, he soaks that 1 hit. Then he counters with 2 immediate attacks, which hopefully can take out the enemy. He should be in Vantage range after that, and you know the rest of the story. Something I want to mention is that if you plan to give Reinhardt Vantage and quicker post, he has 40 HP, and with 1 use of Ardent Sacrifice, he could drop perfectly into that sweet spot where he can use both Vantage and quicker post. I don't like using Ardent Sacrifice for setups like that, but I thought I should at least mention that. C skill is Spur Attack Defense 2. I like this combination because it works so well with slow, steady breath, quicker post units. Other than that, it's just another spur skill. So Reinhardt, while he's solid and strong, I think he's overhyped. It's almost like the time when Sagard was released. If your team has a decent Lance or Dragonstone unit of any kind, then you shouldn't have too much problem against Reinhardt. If you have issues dealing with Vantage Reinhardts, then maybe it's time to try out the Hardy Bearing Seal. That'll prevent Reinhardt from activating Vantage. Despite having said all that, if you summon him, then congrats. He's really unique and strong, but not really game breaking. Best boon for him is obviously attack to maximize his damage output. His best bane is speed. It's already extremely low. It might affect some matchups, but it's not worth sacrificing his bulk when he's guaranteed to get doubled by 90% of the cast. Next is Olwen. She is our 4th Green Tome Cavalier, 34 HP, 30 attack, 35 speed, 19 defense, and 27 resistance. If we take a look at all 4 Green Tome Cavaliers, I think she has the best offensive stat line. 30 attack is mediocre, but 35 speed is where it's at. All of the other 3 have better physical bulk than her, so they would be better with, let's say, a Raven Tome. However, her weapon complements her stat line very well. She doesn't have high attack, but she does have great speed, and that means she's a perfect Blade Tome user. Her weapon Thunderhead adds total bonuses on unit to damage dealt, basically a unique Blade Tome weapon. If we compare Thunderhead with Ground Blade Plus, it has 1 more might and it doesn't have the special cooldown penalty. That means she will be able to activate 2 charge specials versus every single melee enemies when she has Heavy Blade equipped. Not a big deal, but it does improve her 1 crown KOing potential against melee units, especially if she's using Desperation. Special is Blazing Wind. This is the AoE special that I actually like because the area effect is concentrated. It's actually a decent budget special for her. Not only is it good for arena points, but Blade Tome users don't really need their specials. they already deal insane amounts of damage if they receive the correct buffs. A skill is Swift Sparrow, perfect skill for her. It increases her play phase damage output while retaining her bulk. Some people prefer Fury with Desperation just because Blade Tome uses one-shot units most of the time, so it's hard to get them into Desperation range without purposely letting them get attacked, but I think Swift Sparrow is fine. B skill is Renewal, great skill, but get rid of it and give her Desperation. C skill is Green Tome Experience. She's the only unit with this skill, so that's pretty cool, I guess. I don't really care for these experience skills. If your unit receives more experience, that means they have to kill less enemies, which also means that they are missing out on easy SP. It really depends on personal preference, but for me, if I have an experience skill, then I'll use it. If not, then whatever, I'll be okay. She has great offensive stats, great weapon, default stats are good for the most part. The B and C slot are the only ones that you really have to replace. Blazing Wind is okay to keep. Her main pro is that she requires low investment. Most players would just slap on Blade Tome to every single Mage Cavalier just because they're just so good with it. And Olwen comes out of the box with a unique one. Plus she comes out of the box with Swift Sparrow as well. As for boons and banes, the best boon is speed, speed, speed. Attack is the second best boon and the best bane is defense or HP. Last hero of the banner is Nanna. It's been forever since we have had a new staff unit. I think the last one was Mist, or was it Jenny? I think it was the sheep. Anyways, Nanna has 36 HP, 27 attack, 34 speed, 31 defense, and 26 resistance. The main stat to look for in a staff unit, in my opinion, is their speed. Not only does it benefit them offensively, having a lot of speed is the best way for them to survive, especially if they have very lackluster defensive stats, which most of them do. And it looks like Nanna is at the top for speed among clerics and troubledoors. I think she's definitely better than Priscilla, kind of close with Clarine. The question is she better than Elise? And stat wise, I'm going to say no in terms of being an offensive healer. She desperately needs that attack boon to get her offensive stats to 30-34. Elise with IVs can get 32-35 or 35-32, so that's my reasoning there. Nanna is better at one thing, and that's surviving because she has higher speed. Decent stats, nothing special though. Weapon is Absorb, plus could be okay if you give her close counter, quicker post, and proper buffs. Other than that, there are better staves that will work better with her low attack stat, like Pain or Gravity. It depends on what you want to do with her. Whatever staff you give her, just make sure you refine it with Dazzling and not Wrathful. She has a unique assist skill. It's Restore Plus. Restores HP equal to 50% of attack. It also neutralizes allies' penalties and negative status effects. Pretty cool effect. The healer part of it is kind of underwhelming just because of how low her attack stat is. With Absorb Plus equipped, she'll heal for about 17. The cleansing part of the effect will be useful though. It can cleanse stat debuffs from threatened, poised, smoke, as well as the panic effect. It also gets rid of the status effects from Candlelight and Gravity. She's going to be great for hero battle events because intelligence systems just love to add a bunch of debuffing skills, Panic Ploy, and Dazzling Clerics in those events. The rest of her kit is pretty bland, so I'll be quick here. Specialist Heavenly Light. Staff units don't really have much of an option here. Most go Imbue, Heavenly Light, or Miracle. Imbue for increased single target healing, Heavenly Light for AoE heals, or Miracle for survivability. Those are your three options. A skill is Speed Res plus 2, decent budget skill just because it passively increases speed. A great A skill for her is attack speed 2, but you'll have to sacrifice Nephany for that, and that's not worth it. Our first healer in a long time, and overall she's solid. I would have liked her attack to be a tad bit higher, but at least she has good speed. She's not better than Elise offensively, but Nanna is a better defensive healer. As for boons and banes, best boon for her is attack or speed, depending on what you're trying to do with her. Best bane is HP or defense. Alright, so for my personal summoning ranking list, it's Reinhardt, Leif, Olwen, then Nanna, and I'll explain why. When I take a look at banners nowadays, I mostly look for uniqueness. Reinhardt is by far the most unique hero on this banner, but he's not the strongest. I actually think Olwen is the strongest unit out of the four, but her kit isn't that exciting. Leif is second mainly because of his B skill. In case when another Tempest Trials or Chain Challenges like event is released, then I think he would be great to have. Even though he's strong, he's just another sword infantry unit, and I don't really need him for Arena Assault because I already have Ira, Mia, and a bunch of other sword units already. Nanna is last because I never truly cared about staff units. Don't get me wrong, staff units can wreak havoc with Razzle Dazzle and buffs, but they are just not my thing. Should you pull from this banner? It's a good banner to pull from, but keep in mind that Golden Week is at the end of this month. It starts on April 27th. Last year on Golden Week, the first Hero Fest banner was introduced, so maybe there will be another special banner. On the calendar, you can see that there's another Legendary Hero Summoning event in the middle of Golden Week, so maybe increased rates. Who knows? But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.